Hey, true blue, don't say you're gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoko, but you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue. Good to have you here tonight, team. No one's on here yet. Just wait for a comment, maybe a surprise. It shouldn't be. We're about to move into Australia Day, 26th of January, which is one of the biggest days of the year where you're allowed to cheat in any sport except marriage, where you are here to encourage those that are new to our girt by sea country, the biggest opposite of in-ground pool. Throw them a bat, give them the rules, give them a snag unlike a sailor, and say, welcome. Hey, Morgan, how you going, mate? Is this your first time here as number one? Number one on the comments? Good to have you here, mate. Ashley Morgan, giving people back their hair since the 70s, was it? How's the sound looking? Lord Tosser, I always think of myself when I see that name. Hey, Clayton, how you going? Good to have you here. I thought we'd beat the whistle and we'd get over the top of the ramparts for Australia Day 2020 and say, it's time to get back up to Australia. We're going to be talking about that tonight, as well as taking our hats off for the three that have just lost their lives trying to save Australia, or at least assist. Defused a bomb. I haven't seen you, I reckon, in more than a year. Welcome back. Nutsu Cow, the White Warrior, you're very welcome. Jaden Anderson, good to have you here too, mate. Dave D, the moderator, M Blue, the accidental amputee, loves Australia Day, yet confuses me because his favourite car is a Ford and Everest. Funny enough, it's one of mine too. Joy, good to have you here, mate. Danger Zone. Joseph Hannibal Barker, the first on our video that was released today on the truth about joining the army, between those that are recruiting and those that are being recruited, if they were to have a proper conversation. Good news, says defused a bomb, on list on the 28th of January. That's 2 days after Australia Day. That's fantastic. We've got a lot of news today, and it's going to make you happy too. What corps are you going into, defuse? Wouldn't it be ironic if you were going into engineers, bomb disposal? AK, hello, Cass. Hello, AK. Lauren is shining, high with the single hand, Napoleonic. Lauren and Dave, if you are up for a conversation, or JC, for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I've got DOS communications devices here, so I can ring his both at the same time, and we can have a three-way, and I'm not talking about Pornhub team. Let us know. JC, boys in blue, hard job looking after so many dorks that are spread out throughout Australia. Probably good you're on convalescent leave at the moment, mate. Hard to play Xbox with only one good wing, but proud Australian, this is your day coming up. 26th, Cam Aiken, good to have you here from Darwin. Not going Troppo, I hope. Exo Challenger, Clayton Rablin, Sarah Brooke, great to have more than one lass in the comments. Sarah, two first names, but Brooke, Sarah. Brooke's a beautiful name too. Always had a hots for names before the faces sometimes. Kane, good to have you here from Mackay, or Mackay, as some people would call it incorrectly. I'm good, thank you, JC. Anyone listening on the 3rd of March? I think you are, Joy. Are you? Willie Macca, talking about Max. Are you a Big Mac? Because, bam, we've got the Coca-Cola, and we've also got the Democrats' choice of Coca-Cola in the Democrat blue. You know, so from a distance, they look like they're drinking Pepsi, which is evil. If you're a Republican, you need to hold that nice and high. I wish I had an address so I could send it to and say, everyone that's got one of these cups, send one to me so they become part of our new office. It'll be opening soon. Clayton, what are you doing? JC, I'm doing good. Good to have you here, JC. Looking forward to doing something special for you soon, mate. What's that? I'll get back to you about it. Always up for a chat, mate. I know you are, JC, and being part Kiwi, you know, it makes you a good candidate for speaking across the Dutch, just like Lauren. when your shirt's coming out, I've got to look for another set of shirts, mate. ET, we've got the extraterrestrial. What planet do you come from, sir? Phone home, says Mum. To those at Kapuka at the moment, we just went to a march out ceremony. You would have seen some of the photos on there this morning, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Keith, okay, do you think a bee sting allergy would stop me from going? Yes. I believe bee allergies is a pretty big frown one. Would I take him opportunity? Yeah, I would. Would I march you past bee hives in New Zealand where they're plentiful? Yeah, I would. I'd have a bit of a laugh at you too, but I'd make sure none stung you. If it was up to me, mate, you'd be able to surf, no dramas. Don't let me piss on your parade. Wait until you actually go and a medic says yes or no before you go, okay, there's no point. Go through, always have a go until it's the medical staff that tell you, kibosh, no. All right, don't just listen to one person, even if it's Kaz. Amy Brown, here we go. Another lass here. Lucky you've got Amy. Hope everyone is having a nice day. It's morning where I am in the UK. The UK. Is it quiet with Megan gone? I wonder. I feel sorry for Harry. Ever since we spoke about it the other day, all I can think of was what is in it for him? Nothing. And it won't be long before the sex runs out too. That's an acronym I love, but haven't read about for a long time. Lord Tosser Clayton Rabblin's pretty good. Okay, to myself. Sugma, g'day, mate. How you going? Good to have you here. Rabblin or Joseph. Overflowing Stage 3 pit. New cam destroyed, new CSM destroyed you this morning. When the pay stick comes around, that's the company sergeant major team. You better do well, because if you get a fit one, he'll remember that anguish on your face, that screen mask you pull after doing 20 push-ups, and then he's going to hone in on you. Once you lose credibility with the CSM, you're in big trouble. Please leave a thumbs up, says Lauren, below on the screen, and subjects if you haven't already clicked the bell for notifications, of course. Jaden Bundaberg. I've got a good female friend in Bundaberg, but she's a married woman now, so I've got to mind my business there and be respectful of that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly ring Lauren and I'm going to ring Dave. If they pick up, we have a three-way conversation. If they don't pick up, then what happens is we have a two-way, or it's back to just being Cass. I'm sorry, I can't even see what you've said here because my eyes are pretty well did him out of the village. We'll give it a crack, bud. That's Lauren.
Hello.
Hey, how you going, Lauren?
Hello, I'm good.
We're just ringing Dave now.
Okay, I wasn't expecting to be having a three-way this evening.
Well, it's not Mother's Day, is it? Can you speak to him for a sec while I'm tracking Dave?
Yeah, I'll speak to everyone. I don't know what to speak to them about. I had a really boring day. I was just packing up my house.
Well, Australia Day's coming up this weekend. It's a time to...
How's it going, mate?
Oh, look, we've got you all here, so roll call. Dave D, we've got you.
Is it Dave or JC?
No, that's Dave. We'll look at JC after. And Lauren, we've got you there. So the way the rules are going to work for this one is I'm going to let you guys take some of the conversation off me now. And what I'll do is I will deliver a subject. And if you guys want to have a talk, and I'll butt in where I can, get a word in, and we'll see what we think. So people don't realise this is just a rant stream that I often go on, and that we see this as a time. And the focus of today, other than the 3 US that have lost their lives that I'll be talking about later once I get off Dave's phone so I can take a hat off, at the tragedy of losing 3 US workers on Australian soil. You know, I've got ideas what we can do to help their families, but they've all got 2 of them have got children. 1 does not, but is married. You know, it is so sad. After nearly 20 years each in their respective careers around aircraft, this has to be mechanical error, and it really, really saddened me. But before we make this a sad thing, let's keep this positive and talk about Australia. It's time to get back up. We've got the fires, we've got the rain, which is allowing a little bit of this to be controlled. The fires are getting are starting to get controlled. And now it's time to lick our wounds and see how badly, Australia is suffering. So if you'd like to start off, Dave, and then we'll move to Lauren, and in the vein of it's time to get back up Australia, what would your advice be, and what does Australia Day mean to you, etc., Dave?
Yeah, I mean, just quickly on those fireys, those pilots that crashed. I mean, that's an absolute tragedy. That's guys not even putting themselves on the line for their own country. That's guys coming from the United States putting themselves on the line for our country and our emergency that's at the moment. So that's a real. We got to take our hats off to those guys and their families, and that is a real tragedy. And anything that we can do to help their families would be amazing. So.
I've got a quick idea for that one, Dave. Not trying to cut you off. I would imagine what we could do at the very least is Australia should pick up the cost of that plane, even though it's old as hell. That C-130, I've been in them 1,000 times. Pay that back, but for the families, it should automatically be what are the projected earnings of those three men within their field for their families for the next 30 years. That's paid, and then from there, look at their children. Set up grants for them, have a funeral where the families are flown to Australia so they can meet some of the bushfire victims, so they understand they've got a family abroad, and then the healing process sort of goes from there. So it's not just about financial, it's about the loving arms being around them. And then from there, let that be distributed, as a loving gesture that endures for years to years to come.
Yeah. And being able to build that connection between those families and the people that they were helping would be an amazing thing.
They took off just up the road from me at Richmond, right beside where Aaron Dixon lives and where Aaron Dixon actually worked at the Richmond airfield. It's a tragedy. We don't know what happened yet. They were travelling well, and then just Kane, because I've subscribed and I have notifications on. Kane, you've been with us for months. We know, brother. Good to have you here. And Lauren, what's your thing on this? If you're up to date with the gentlemen that just lost their lives and left their children behind.
It was sad, but it was heartwarming at the same time. Because as JC just said before in the chat, that some of those men were veterans also. Yep. And it just struck me that some people just never stop giving, like our S. Bryce in the chat, and that they are in the army, or JC even, and then they go on to serve in other ways. And it's like the service to Western civilization just never ends. They just, once they finish giving in like a defense capacity, they just keep giving and they find other ways to give. And it's sad that they, gave their life. And I think the connection with their families and our families over here is really important. And I'm sure that they can feel everybody's love going out to them. I wouldn't even hate to see a memorial of some kind erected to them. I know people get upset at the erection of memorials and things, but it's really important because it's for when we're gone. People should still remember what a big event it was, and even just the three simple stories of those three people going to a land not their own to sacrifice to help make it better. It's a beautiful thing and should probably be remembered.
It is true. Monuments can be a scary thing. We've had soldiers that have lost their lives in training establishments, for example. And that is where it becomes very, very dicey. I know Jeremy Williams, my soldier that took his own life, the OC ordered the tree to be destroyed immediately that he'd hung himself with, so that the parents, there wasn't a security drama that would bring them back like Mecca, continually coming back to see the site of where they'd lost their son. So it can be a burden and a curse also for those. For example, if you have a loved one buried as opposed to cremated, where you throw their ashes on a beach, which you can visit the beach and enjoy. When people actually have a grave, they feel compelled, I better go there, when was the last time you went there? It can become a weird situation. Yeah, I don't know.
I'd like to see like some chainsaw artist from the area, chainsaw a tree trunk or something that was still standing to, memorialise them.
JC brought up a good point here. The politicians get a chance to show their true colours shining through with our veterans, and we rarely see that. So is this going to be one of those flash in the pan? It's good to be seen there, supposed to be seen there. And another example of this, Dave, Lauren, and to all those who are in viewing now, when Kevin Rudd was in power, I lost my shit. I'd been for the ABC to go on Four Corners or whatever it was, and wasn't allowed. And sorry,
I remember that.
Yeah, I wasn't. They never let me answer my registered question because I was there with the jacket medals on all at the same time. And this was only 2 days after Kevin Rudd, etc., hadn't gone to the homecoming of the 27 Vietnam dead. When they got flown into Richmond, they'd gone to the state of origin instead. And then when they got called out, they didn't realise more than 10,000 people on the sides of highways, etc., were stopping traffic, standing there, people crying. And I tell you what, there was 3 children, I believe, in that procession too, to see 27 hearses going down, and we lost that video, team. I've still got it. I can put it back up, and maybe I should. But when those guys got returned, you could see adults on the side of the road in tears because they didn't know what was actually happening. All they saw was 50 cops on bikes and just 27 hearses where the traffic was just stopped. And you could see people just thinking, what has happened? We're so used to not seeing the bad side of catastrophe, what happens from those that give their lives freely to keep our society afloat, so to speak.
I think we're shielded a little bit too much from it.
Yeah. And
I think it's egregious that we've got leaders over the years that have showed such a ignorance of where they need to be at the time. Like those sort of events and other things that have happened, like that's where they've shown a lack of leadership to not stand up and be there at that critical time.
Yeah.
Well, we saw that with, I thought Anna Bligh done a great job during the floods. And then when you saw her go straight from